Thank you for being with us tonight.
Well, Rick, first of all, thank you. I'm honored and humbled to be here. And look, I'm just going to share from my heart tonight, if that's okay with everybody, and tell you a little bit about my story, and then tell you a little bit about, like Rick said, the last 20 years of my life has led to this day, and really the last 4 years have been impeccable getting to it. But what's happening right now is really just amazing. So first of all, thank you for having me. My name is Dr. Eric Nepute. I'm a physician by trade, just so everybody knows. I'm a doctor of natural medicine, doctor of chiropractic. I'm also a primary care doctor. I've got a fellowship in functional neurology, a fellowship in internal health. I practice functional medicine. I tell you all those fancy things not to impress you, but just to impress upon you that my background is a little different than most doctors. I'm all about helping people get to the root cause of their problems. Not only am I a physician, but I'm also a serial entrepreneur at heart. I mean, I've owned and operated over 30 of my own practices. When COVID was getting ready to start, I was getting ready to open up another 30 practices across the country and several across the pond. I still own and operate a couple surgical centers. I was a owner of a hospital system in St. Louis. I own a nutraceutical company as well as a part of a pharmaceutical company. Again, I just know the health and wellness space. I've seen the good, the bad, the ugly with all of it. And some of you have heard my story, at least on some level before. You know, I was raised, I always tell people I'm the son of a pig farmer from central Illinois. So all I know how to do is get up and work and help people. That's just me at my heart, right? And, the world got a little bit crazy at the beginning of 2020. And as a physician who specializes in helping people with flus and colds and helping them get to the root of their problem, when COVID hit, we had some very interesting therapies that help people. In fact, all my practices, we saw over 11,000 people who were diagnosed with COVID and nobody died. Nobody even went to the hospital. We actually really helped people. And oddly enough, instead of the government asking me what we did, they thought it was in their best interest to sue me. And they sued me for $508 billion. That I did not hesitate to stutter that. That's 508 with a B billion dollars. And after a 3.5 year battle with the United States federal government, not only did I win my lawsuit against them, but they've now partnered with me. Once they saw my technology on some of the things we're doing, they've now partnered with me on two of my big projects. One of them I might talk a little bit about tonight. So it's quite honestly a story that you can't make up. A lot of crazy things have happened over the last 4 years, and to be honest with you, I was really putting the final touches on this project that we're launching August the 17th. Is our first part of the launch anyway. And I want to tell you a little bit about that. And the project's name is BioLimitless. And why do I call it BioLimitless? Because I know that we truly, as human beings, have limitless potential uh, through our own biology to live a happy, healthy, abundant, productive life. And not only healthcare, but wealth care. And look, I've been a private practicing physician now for over 20 years, helped hundreds of thousands of people find the root cause of their problems, and trained, thousands and thousands of doctors across the globe on my systems and processes. And look, I'll just tell you this. If we didn't learn anything over the last 4+ years about our healthcare system, we need to recognize that it's really not about health, nor is it about care. Look, I'm just going to share this with you so that you can get an idea of what we're dealing with. Just in the United States alone, we spend $5 trillion a year on our healthcare system. And by the way, you and I would be completely fine with spending 5 trillion if that gave us the number one results that were out there. Well, if you take the top 100 industrialized countries and stack them up, pull the United States out of them, add up all those 99 countries combined, we spend more money than all those 99 combined on our healthcare system. And again, I'd be okay with that. And so would you if we were at the top of the list with all of our results, but we're not. In fact, we're at the lower 2/3 with most of them, including infant mortality and quality of life. Yeah, I got a message I guess the devil doesn't want you guys to hear. So anyway, look, I was talking about the system that we have created that I educate doctors on called the hierarchy of health. And it's a systematic system where we can actually help doctors help their patients get to the root of the problem. Well, I wanted to figure out how can we, through the use of AI, advanced machine learning, and at home testing, could we do the same thing for people at home? Well, we've cracked the code on that. And BioLimitless, by the way, BioLimitless itself is my company, and BioLimitless has multiple avenues of of distribution, if you will, of the precision testing, the education, the therapeutics, et cetera. There's a brick and mortar component. We have a plan to open up over 200 brick and mortar, what are called biolimitless centers of excellence all over the globe. In fact, I'm going to tell you right now, the Japanese, the Europeans, they want these so bad it's not funny. And obviously here in the U.S. And the excitement behind this is absolutely unbelievable. We have an affiliate marketing arm that we can have doctors and affiliates and influencers promote and market the idea of biolimitless, because we want a global recognition that healthcare and self-care really is really what it's all about. We also have a direct to consumer model, right? Our peer-to-peer model, that's our biolimitless direct model. And that model is here's the reality, is that model has to be the most nourished model. And why? Because if we're going to develop a parallel healthcare system that's by the people, of the people, and for the people, and that's community driven, there has to be a community around it. And so we're launching in multiple phases. In fact, our phase one launch is August the 17th, and we're launching primarily the concept of biolimitless, which, by the way, we've already proven this concept with tens of thousands of patients all over the globe in 30 of my own practices. And the team that we put behind this to take this global is just off the charts, off the charts high. You're going to see that in Las Vegas. But in Vegas, I'm rolling out phase one. And let me tell you one of the self-care assessments that we're rolling out that's so powerful. Look, as a functional medicine doctor, I need to know as much as I can about you, the individual, and your individual needs more than anything. And blood tests are important, and, stool samples are good, but we actually have a genetic profile test. It's called a nutrigenomics test. It's a spit test where we send you at home a little kit, a tube to spit in or swab your cheek. And that test can tell me more about yourself than, I promise you, you've probably learned from all your doctors and healthcare experiences in the last 20 years combined. And as a functional medicine practitioner, I don't know how to help my patients until I have a genetic assessment of them. Let me explain the genetic assessment a little bit. We call it our biolimitless DNA discovery kit. There are other organizations out there. I mean, I've been doing DNA testing for over 15 years. By the way, when I first started doing it, these tests cost about $2,500 a person. Then 5 years later, it went to like $1,500 a person. Well, there are genetic tests that are out there now that measure about 5 SNPs. Sometimes they measure up to 10. And then when they're done, they basically say to you, okay, take these vitamins, eat better, exercise, drink water, and go outside and play. Like, it's the most common sense waste of your time and money you can do with these tests. We have a test that measures 800,000 SNPs, 800,000. And 250 of those SNPs are what's called actionable based off of already understood criteria of accepted science backed by NIH.gov data that says if you do X, Y, and Z, you can prevent, reduce risk, mitigate the chances of some of these genes expressing. And what's amazing is the other 800,000 SNPs that we don't have the data on yet. We actually have data on about 25,000 of them, but we don't have a scientific consensus yet. Every month or every week or every year, we're going to get more of those results come in. And you take this test one time in your life, and that's it. You're going to be getting updates via email, via text, via your app that will show you you've got this SNP. Now you need to do X, Y, and Z. Let me give you an example. I just had a conversation about 3 months ago with a woman who came to see me, and she has chronic fatigue, fibromyalgia, and rheumatoid arthritis. And she's tried everything. She's probably taken about 30 different supplements right now. She's eating a healthy diet. And we ran her genetic test and found 2 big genes that were problematic. One of them is a gene called MTHFR. What that gene means is that she can't detoxify. What that gene means is that her body can't handle carbohydrates. It's basically like poison for her. And what that gene means is that she needs a specific type of a B vitamin in order for her body to turn her energy on. Well, we gave her those vitamins. Within 2 weeks, her energy was back. Her migraines were gone, and she started having less pain. But then I told her she has another gene that doesn't allow her body to handle what are called oxalates. Oxalates are in foods like grass-fed beef, spinach, kale, those kind of foods. She's eating healthy foods, spinach, kale, and grass-fed beef, because somebody told her those are healthy foods, but not for her. Once we were able to get her to change her diet based off of her genetic profile, her pain went away almost immediately. Her energy came back. Her bowel problems got better. Now, 90 days later, she doesn't have a positive C-reactive protein test on a blood test. That's what I'm talking about with precision testing, so that you can change your lifestyle. Because listen, I'm going to tell you right now, you can take all the supplements on the planet, but if you don't understand how you should live your life, what foods you should eat, how you handle fats, carbs, proteins, what genes are working, not working, you can't out supplement that. So I'm a proponent of supplements, and we have some really unique products that we're going to discuss in a minute. But I'm telling you that gene profile is a game changer. And by the way, that test is hundreds of dollars, not thousands of dollars. And it's one time in your life. By the way, you come see me, and let's say you even have health insurance. You might be spending $500 to $1,000 on blood tests alone a couple times a year to get to the functional cellular root of your blood. In our phase 2 rollout, we're able to send those blood tests directly to you at home for literally a couple $100. You can do those. So I wanted to figure out a way, how can we make healthcare truly accessible, and how can we put the educational piece back into it? So that's one huge component of what we're doing. Another huge component we're rolling out with our phase 1 rollout is what I call our 2 foundational formulas. Now, I really want you to hear me on this, because this is really important. And if I do a good job explaining this to you, you're going to go, that makes complete sense. Why has nobody ever shared that with me before? Everybody on this call knows about vitamins, minerals, nutrients, eating good, healthy, clean foods, fats, carbs, proteins. That's like the raw materials for your body. If I'm going to build a house, I need those raw materials, like my wood, my glue, my screws, my shingles. Those are raw materials. But I need someone to get these raw materials and put them together. And I refer to those as worker bees, contractors. Well, in the body, you have about 5 different worker bees. You have something called enzymes, you have stem cells, you have peptides, you have exosomes, and you have microbacteria. Those are the chemicals in your body that tell your cells to grab those raw materials and put them to work. Here's what most people don't know. Once we get over the age of 30, we lose about 90% of the function of production of all those cell signaling technologies in the body that take your nutrients and tell your cells to put them to work. That's why we start to look old. That's why we start to feel old. And the reality of it is if we can get those cells to signal again, then the body will work. Well, those contractors need to read a blueprint. That blueprint is your DNA. So we're giving that DNA test so that you have a blueprint to read, so that you know what action steps to take for your own life, which is going to be different than your children, which is different than your spouse. I mean, my wife is an identical twin, and her DNA profile was different than her sister's DNA profile. I mean, it's so unique and it's so different. But then we actually have some really cool formulas that we're rolling out with in our phase 1 rollout. The first product is called Cell Signaling Formula. Why? Because what does it do? It tells the cells to signal. And so we're using some unique formulas. We actually have something that's a tripeptide formula. So 3 different peptides in an oral delivery system, which, by the way, those of you that know anything about peptides know that they are amazing at what they do. They signal your cells to go back to work. They tell your hormones to turn back on. They tell your cells to speed up the healing process and stay young. They lengthen your chromosomes and telomeres, which is the fountain of youth in the body. And I have a global patented delivery system that we developed out of our laboratory in Strasbourg, France, that allows us to use what's called a phytomicro encapsulation delivery system to encapsulate those micro doses of peptides plus the nutrients in a formula, get it into the body, past the stomach acids where they normally can't get past, get them into the small intestine so they can be absorbed into the bloodstream. And our clinical study, which I'm going to release in Vegas, shows that with an injection, there's normally about a 60 to 80% absorbability rate into the blood. Well, our phytomicro encapsulation formula has now proven that we have between a 60 and 85% absorption rate, depending upon what compounds we use. So if I can make a formula more effective, cheaper, and you don't have to stick yourself with a needle, it is a game changer. So that's something that is a new, really powerful healthcare delivery system in signaling the cells. The second thing is, many of you know, if some of you have followed me over the last several years, I've been a major proponent on fixing a problem that's called dysbiosis or dysbacteriosis. We commonly refer to it as leaky gut. Even Hippocrates, the father of medicine, said first fix the gut and everything falls into place. Most people don't realize that 90% of your immune system is in your GI tract. Most people don't realize that 90% of the neurotransmitters that make us feel happy, healthy, balanced, and etc. are in your GI tract. And if your gut is off, then your entire health system is off. So again, we've developed, this is really pretty slick, by the way. We developed a type of a probiotic that is a spore-based probiotic. Most people are used to using a cultured probiotic. And 99% of those cultured probiotics don't work. They actually cause more harm than good. And what I did was I looked at the longevity studies, and I looked at this place called the blue zones. The blue zones are areas of the world where people typically live to be 100 years old or more. And they function at a level that is, I mean, they're 100 and they're still going to work every day. They still have relationships every day. And they understand letting their food being their medicine and letting their medicine be their food. But one of the studies for the blue zones found that people who live in the blue zones have 7 bacteria and fungi inside their body that are not in industrialized civilizations. Like where I live in St. Louis, we don't have that in our community. And so we took those spore-based bacteria, the 7 fungi and bacteria that are supposed to be in humans, the ones that God gave us that are supposed to be there, we put them in a delivery system that allows the spore-based bacteria, again, to get past the stomach into the small intestine. And the study I'm going to release in Vegas shows that not only does it absorb, but it cultures. And that's the key, because if it can culture, it can heal the gut. And when you have leaky gut, you can have things like anxiety, depression, insomnia, blood sugar issues, hormone imbalances, obesity can come from that, insomnia problems, skin issues, allergies, autoimmune issues. The list goes on and on. When the gut is bad, everything else follows suit. We found a formula that clinically has been proven to reduce in the blood something called zonulin, which is the blood marker that causes leaky gut. This is revolutionary. I used to have to give people 3 to 4 different products. Now I got one. And look, if we live in the 21st century, but most of my colleagues still practice in the 20th century, it's time to make that shift. And precision diagnostics and precision therapeutics is that shift. Because if we got the gut right and we got the cell signaling and you're eating for your genetic lifestyle, there's not a whole lot else that you really need to do. However, we actually have a 6-phase rollout. Let me talk about some of those other phases. So my phase 2 rollout, which is going to be in February of 2025 in Dubai, I'm rolling out more precision at-home therapeutic testing that you as a physician can do in your practices. You can do also in telehealth. If you're an influencer, you can influence people positively online to purchase these formulas. But we also have a direct-to-consumer aspect where you now, from the comfort of your home, can get a blood test to look at vitamins, minerals, and deficiencies and toxicities. We can look at heavy metals. We can look at plastics. We can look if you have parasites and candida. We can do at-home stool samples to look at what food you should eat, food you shouldn't eat. We literally can give you all the data pieces that will be API'd into an app called our biolimitless.life app that uses the same AI algorithms and machine learning that the Department of Defense uses for certain conditions in the VA system, which actually work. So the technology is phenomenal. I mean, imagine having your phone where all your blood tests and your genetic profiles and everything are there that you literally can scroll through that tells you what meals you should eat, what foods you should have, what you should avoid, what supplements you should have, an exercise program for you. I mean, it really is phenomenal that's out there. And so in our phase 2, we're rolling out more precision testing. And one of the companies that I own, I've been working with for 7 years now, is in regenerative medicine in the form of stem cells. Well, we take from stem cells and extract something from them called exosomes. Exosomes are the acellular components, the orchestra, if you will, that signals your cells to turn on. It helps with joint tissue regeneration, reducing inflammation, immune system modulation, organ regeneration. We've been able to take those exosomes, lyophilize them, and I'm currently in phase 3 clinical FDA approval. I've already got phase 3 approval to take these exosomes in a direct-to-consumer oral lyophilized pill. And for just so you know, when people come into my office and get an injection of exosomes, they typically get an injection of about 62 billion exosomes, and 1 cc typically costs about $2,500 for an injection. What if I was able to give you that in a pill form that's already been proven to get into the small intestine and into the bloodstream for hundreds of dollars instead of thousands of dollars? What that can do to regenerate your cells is amazing. And scientists are now talking about the fact we're not just going to live to 120 years. We're literally talking about living to 180 to 200 years on this planet. We better have our cells and our body working better. And by the way, we now can measure chronological versus biological age. And if you're chronologically in your 60s, but biologically it says you're in your 80s, that's not good. Well, what if there were things that you can do by changing your lifestyle, doing the right cell signaling formulas, using peptides, using exosomes, that we can really reverse the aging process, and you can go from a biological age of 70 to a biological age of 40 when you're chronologically 60. That's where we're moving towards in healthcare. The days of taking vitamins, pills, potions, and lotions to treat and manage symptoms are gone. And so BioLimitless is a healthcare delivery system that gives people the ability and the responsibility to understand about themselves and into self-care. So I also told you that we're also rolling out a telehealth project as well. We've got hundreds of thousands of doctors globally that are getting involved in our networks that can be on our app, that can talk to you about what health really is. Not just here's another drug and another pill. By the way, I'm not against drugs and pills, but I'm against people not knowing what health really is. And I'm also against people like not knowing the root cause of things like type 2 diabetes. Like, we have a patented program to reverse type 2 diabetes that has a 90% success rate for people who put it into play. The American Diabetic Association has a 2% success rate according to their own data. Like, that's not okay. And I'm just kind of fed up with my profession and the system that chews people up and spits them out, where insurance dictates the level of health and care that people get, dictates what I can prescribe to my patients. And mainstream media and big powers that be try to suppress the truth. And look, if this seems conspiratorial to you, like, read the news and read a book. Like, it's where we're at today. And the quality of your life is in direct proportion to the quality of the questions you ask yourself and ask other people. And when I was going through med school and when I was going through all my other training, I always asked the question, why? Why do people have these problems? And why don't we focus on changing the root cause, which most of it is lifestyle driven? And it's not difficult to figure stuff out when you know what you're looking for. So, BioLimitless is really an all-encompassing project. Just so you guys know, like I said, I've been working on this now for really 20 years. The last 4 years, we've spent over $130 million on this project. This is no joke. I could have easily sold my technology to Big Pharma and got a big check and went and sat on the beach. I could have taken a settlement from the government. They offered me money to go quietly in the night, never talk about what I did, what I went through. And they were going to give me my legal fees back, and I could negotiate the 20 million in revenue that I lost those 4 years. They gave me the choice to be able to have my freedom and continue to do this, or to take money and be quiet and sit down and shut up. And, my days of gold, girls, and glory are over. I'm a mission-driven guy, very much, like Rick is. And my mission is to give everybody the opportunity to have true expression of what true health is through self-care, because self-care really is the new healthcare. Now, there's a lot more that I can talk about. There's a lot more I can say. I know that's kind of a fire hose, but Rick, I'll just kind of shut up for a minute and just say, hey, what are your thoughts? What else should I talk about? I mean, it's a lot of info, right? But it's pretty cool.
Yeah, I think that one of the things that really caught me was, I kind of heard of peptides, but I wasn't really familiar what they were and how they worked, and even the Ozempic story, right? Everybody knows what that is, right? So maybe you can just talk about that and maybe some of the other products that are coming down in phase two.
Yeah, yeah. So everybody's hearing about peptides now, which by the way, I've been using peptides for almost 20 years in my practice. Peptides are nothing more than amino acids, which come from proteins. So they come from plants and animals. They make amino acids. Amino acids get put together in these chains. And these chains can be either 2 amino acids or up to 200 amino acids in length. And when they bind together, they're called peptides. And peptides are really nothing more than computer coding going into the body. You put these peptides in, and those peptides get read by your DNA, and your cells go, okay, I'm supposed to do X, Y, and Z because these peptides tell me to. They signal to the cells to go to work. And Ozempic and trizepatide and Mounjaro have really kind of opened up the new conversation of peptides again. But the problem is when you take mega doses of peptides, they're going to cause problems, and we're seeing that now. Dollars, by the way, because people that are getting these mega doses of peptides, like 200 milligrams a week of peptides, they're getting liver problems, pancreatic problems. They're having vision issues. In the Ozempic study, the trial, there were 30,000 people that reported having literally defecated in their sleep because their gut is so bad. But everybody said, I'm losing weight, so who cares, right? Like, it's crazy. And now the data shows that when people get off these peptides, they gain their weight back. What if there were ways that we could microdose the peptides so there are no side effects? And what if we could combine those with other natural solutions that could help people lose weight naturally and keep the weight off? One of the formulas that we're launching in phase 2 is a GLP-1 formula that's microdosing of semaglutide. I'm talking like micrograms per day, not milligrams, micrograms. Plus, it's got 6 other catalysts in it to help the body not just lose weight, but to detox and keep it off. And the 6-week studies that we've done, the average man loses around 25 to 26 pounds of fat, and the average woman loses about 23 to 24 pounds of fat, and they're keeping it off. So in phase 2, we're launching another dozen peptide-driven formulas, everything from weight loss to hormone reset to male and female vitality products to products that are cosmetic for the skin, hair restoration, beard thickening. We have some for the immune system, some for the GI system, all peptide driven, all these solutions that people are looking for, but we're doing it from a common sense standpoint. We're not just saying, here, go take this Vita Vita Vegemin, and all of a sudden you're going to feel and function better. We want you to learn about your health. We want to educate you on the process and make sure that you're using the right formulas at the right time. So it's really quite amazing that the peptide conversation is really big right now. And we're going to see a big shift into peptides because they work, and it's obviously a market, demand. But what's interesting is we have these peptide delivery systems that are allowing people to use peptides in a natural way, not in a drug way. We can do it in a safe way without side effects. And it's really quite amazing what's happening. So those are the products, and that's a little bit about peptides, Rick.
And a fraction of the cost too. I mean,
A fraction.
Everybody I talk to now is like, yeah, I've been taking peptides forever. I spend $1,800 a month. I spend $1,200 a month, So at a fraction of the cost, and really those are the same results that they're getting on the drug, right? As far as weight loss concerned.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
amazing, amazing stuff. Chuck, you want to jump in here and throw something out? We got a good 20 minutes left with Dr. E. We're not letting him off 1 minute early. I know he's got another call at 9 though.
You're good. You're good.
I guess you talked about the 6 phases. You kind of covered phase 1 being here on the 17th, phase 2 coming up in Dubai in February. And what does the rest of it look like?
Yeah. So Chuck, really every 4 to 6 months, we're going to be rolling out a new phase. And why is that? Because look, in phase 3, we're going to be really focused on stress management, sleep, and insomnia. We have products and we have wearable devices. And I shared this with everybody in St. Louis. We actually are past beta testing with a wearable sleep mask. So you know how people are on the airplane and they wear those blackout masks? We actually have some that have sensors in it that can measure your brain waves, the 5 brain waves when you sleep. And if your brain gets out of the normal sleep phase through sound and light therapy, we can get the brain to go back into that sleep phase. By the way, the longevity studies, Chuck, have shown that if people aren't sleeping, they're not living long ages. If they're not sleeping, they have massive health challenges. And so this technology has been proven to use this 20 minutes is the equivalent of a 4-hour power nap. So, I mean, for busy go people like all of us on here, we now have technologies that we can use to biohack our health. So that's phase 3. Phase 4, we're really getting into a lot more wearable tech from a cardiovascular standpoint. And everything's API'd into this app so that you are a walking history of your medical records. We're doing some advanced stuff in our biolimitless centers of excellence in phase 3, and in phase 4 as well. And then phase 5 and 6, we're releasing some very interesting technology. So people have heard of this concept of med beds before, right? These are devices that people can lay in, and within 15 to 20 minutes, multiple therapies at the same time, their body can be encompassed with. We have a product right now that we're already using in our beta testing, where think about a pod that you can lay in. It's like a very comfortable, relaxing chair. It has multiple modalities. It has a Tesla coil in it. It has a violet light therapy. It has ozone, so oxygen therapy. It has brain balancing therapy, and it has sound and light therapy. So literally your cells are like on a Tesla charging station for 15 to 20 minutes when you're doing this. I mean, where we're moving towards with health and wellness is really next level. And our biolimitless centers of excellence, think about this. Think about a place where you can go. We're a wellness center, and a place that looks like Tesla and an Apple store got together and made this beautiful creation with the highest level of technologies, the highest level of AI machine learning to give the best results for the patient, where you can go get vitamin IVs. We can do stem cell and exosome injections. We can do genetic profiling. You can get natural pain management. We can go over lunch and get your hair redone. We can do injections into your scalp. I mean, it is a one-stop shop for all things. And I'm going to tell you, we're going to have one of those on darn near every corner in major metropolitan cities across the globe. So there's a lot more pieces to it. I don't want to overwhelm folks, but what I want people to understand is this is an ever-growing, evolving healthcare delivery system. And part of it is a direct-to-consumer aspect, and part of it is a peer-to-peer aspect. And by the way, we're utilizing blockchain technology, smart contracts, so that it's all about truth, trust, and transparency, which in the financial world and in the healthcare world, that's a 180 of what we're dealing with right now. And look, I've always been about transparency. I've always been about trust and truth. I mean, that's the only way. I learned a long time ago. If you want to help make a correction with somebody, you have to first make a connection with somebody. And that only happens through truth and transparency. And this whole system is based off of that. So it's really pretty amazing. And it's really disruptive because, you know, it challenges the status quo. Even though we're not directly going at the status quo of the healthcare system, we're creating a parallel system that people should have the free will to participate in. But ultimately, they're going to see that it is more effective, less expensive, more accessible. This is what people are going to gravitate towards. So pretty exciting.
You know, guys, and for all of us that have been involved in the health and wellness industry within the network marketing world, we've always had paydays, right? We got paid on such and such a day, and so on and so forth. All of that has gone away with smart contracts and with the blockchain, because what happens, and this is going to trip, I mean, it's something, you know, that I couldn't believe, because once a product gets purchased, it's going to get paid out. The commissions are going to get paid out instantly, right to your wallet while you're sleeping. No Friday payday, no ACH to your bank account, no, nothing like that. I mean, you know, Rick and I were talking about, you know, what if we just took our entire database and gave everybody a position in BioLimitless, and if you wanted to activate it, you could. If you didn't want to, you didn't have to, right? It's just, it's there. And so we've been looking for something on a global scale, you know, to bring in our affiliate base. We've got 1.3 million affiliates around the world. And unfortunately, we hadn't found anything that fit that other million. You know, we've got a couple, 200 or 300,000 in the US market, but we've never found anything that really fit the rest of it. And this was a fit. This was one of those logical fits because, it's going to be affordable. It's going to be global. You're shipping to what, over 100 countries right out of the gate?
Yeah, right out of the gate. And we have an entire compliance team globally that's allowing us to be all over Europe, all over the GCC, so the Middle East, Japan, Korea. We're working with Malaysia right now, all of North America, most of South and Central America. We're doing some countries in the Caribbean. I mean, it's a global launch, and our plan is to be able to give the opportunity to everybody who wants to participate in this ecosystem. So, I mean, to me, healthcare is one of the most important assets that a person can have. So we're not going to hold this, hostage just to North America. It's going to be a global deal right out of the gate.
Well, hey,
Yeah.
Doctor, we've got to go ahead, Rick.
No, I was just gonna say, extremely exciting, guys. If you do want to ask questions, drop it in the chat because we only have a few more minutes with Dr. E, and I want to make sure we value his time. But just on the business opportunity, obviously there's a great business opportunity here, guys. We're looking at that, and like Chuck said, the goal is to migrate and give everybody an opportunity. We really feel that we'll probably have about 100 of us that are going out to Las Vegas. If you guys can make it, I really encourage. I think it's going to be one of those things where you look back 10, 15, 20 years. I was there. I was there at phase one launch. And so if you guys can make it, I know it's short notice for you, but a lot of us are going out there. We do have some tickets. So again, get with Chuck with that. But the opportunity is one thing, but on the health side and the crusade side, I mean, for me, everybody in my family is getting this DNA test. Everybody that I know is getting this DNA test. And if they can't afford it, I'm buying it for them, right? Because it's a life code. And I saw the app just demoed on the TV out in St. Louis, and it is so well organized. I mean, it's really exceptionally done, Dr. E. Congratulations on that. But look, literally go in there and really it's giving me my dietary plan for the week. It's giving me my exercise plan, my recovery times. It's incredible. And I love that, in a very secure format. Those 800,000 SNPs are up there. They don't know your name. It's just a number. And when science catches up, they get downloaded. There's more actionable items, more things that we can follow and follow in the vision. So it makes sense. It's common sense, and it's very, very exciting. So, Dr. E, could you just kind of tell us a little bit more about what we should expect in Vegas if we come out?
Yeah. So there's really two parts of Vegas. I mean, here's the lowdown. We're start at 9 a.m. and we're going till about 12:30 to 1. Okay, so 9 a.m. to around 12:30 to 1. The first part of the day is really about the problems that we're dealing with in the world and then the solutions. You're going to hear a lot from me, a lot from other healthcare experts, and a lot from and we're going to make it really simple to understand all the technologies and the why behind what we're doing. And then we're going to paint the big picture of what it is. In the second half, we're going to be talking from about 2 o'clock until 5 o'clock. So it's a full day. And we're going to have different speakers talking about what is the blockchain, what is smart contracts. We're going to be talking about the comp plans for the network component. We're going to be talking about the affiliate components. We're going to be talking about the bio-limitless centers of excellence. We are doing part of a really unique opportunity at the Vegas event. Our legal team is going to be there talking about how we're doing all the things we're doing globally. We're going to have people talk about their experiences with the formulas, the products. I mean, the first half is about healthcare. The second half is about business and wealth care. And it should be a really epic event. It's going to go by really fast, but it's one of those things, Rick, like you said, man, it's one of those things where you're just going to want to be there because it's going to be an emotional day. There's going to be a lot of like aha moments. There's some really significant individuals that are going to be there, and man, it's going to be a power position, a power place for folks to be in. And I will tell you, I know how the event's going to go. It's going to be amazing. It's going to be high energy. It's going to be high impact, and everybody's going to leave there with hope, with possibilities about what's possible for their healthcare and for their wealth care, because that's what this system is about. Look, I've desperately wanted to be able to bring healthcare and wealth care together, and we have a very disruptive system that we're going to roll out that truly has never been done before. We joke and say that bio-limitless not only checks all the boxes, but we've actually created some new boxes that people didn't even know need to be checked.
Yeah, there's no doubt. I think, blockchain, it's a game changer. I think it's going to, every company in this space down the road is going to have to be on the blockchain. It's going to be one of those boxes you want to check because of that transparency. And it's something that this industry lacks in a major, major way. So, congratulations. So there's a lot of questions on the comp plan and stuff. Guys, that's all going to be revealed out there. And I'm sure this is going to be recorded if you can't make it. I see the comments. I mean, I know everyone on this call would love to be out there. We are giving you an opportunity. We have acquired some tickets. So if you guys want to come, we'll be able to sponsor you, get you into the event. You got to reach out to Chuck for that. So if you can make it, make it. But understand this, that our goal is, as we get feedback from you guys out there, our goal is, we've kind of already given it a stamp of approval. I know I have, that we want to make this move. And we're going to make that decision up there in Las Vegas, post event. So stick around. On Friday night, we will have a meet and greet at the Red Rock. So if you guys are out there, come and see us at the Red Rock. That's at 7:30, I believe. You guys have been out, we've done a lot of events out there, and then we might have something Sunday morning, but just kind of stay tuned for that. But listen, Dr. E, I know you got another call coming up here in just a few minutes. You probably got to go run to the bathroom, get a drink or something. But I just want to thank you so much, brother, and congratulations on this. 20 years coming to fruition. I know,
I know,
it must
right?
feel amazing. So, any final words for us?
I just want to say that I'm humbled and honored to be here. I'm humbled and honored to really share what's possible. And I want to make sure everybody understands something. This is not about me. This is about we, the global community. We have an opportunity. Life is all about these cycles that are happening, and we get to see rises and falls of really unique things. And we're at that point where we're seeing the bottom of something really, really bad. But what's great is every one of us on this call gets to see something great on the top of that. And I know that this is going to be a part of that something great. So I hope to see you in Vegas, and whatever I can do to help serve, I'm all in.